morning I see, and I don't see any new faces, so welcome. And if you would please turn off your cell phone if you have it with you, or put it on vibrate so it doesn't interfere with today's service. Our guest musician is the wonderful Joy Turkowski, and I'm the at-one-minute reader. You, God, are love. We know that love is your essence, and that you call us to spread that love. Help us, Lord. Help us to become vessels of your love, your peace, your kindness, your spirit. Not just to those who are easy to love, not just to those we think belong to us, but all of your children. May we be part of a love revolution in your name, and smile by smile, hug by hug, change the world. And our opening hymn is projected on the wall, Living in the Heart of God.
Cool.
We haven't done this in a while, so I'm going to help us out. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. We are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Morning sun coming through the trees, and the green leaves shimmer in the summer breeze. The songbirds singing to the honeybees, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. After the dazzle of day is done, the moon makes love to the setting sun. The stars come twinkling one by one, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We sleep in dreams both deep and bright, sailing through the velvet night, refreshing the soul to the spirit's delight, living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. We are living, we are living, we are living in the heart of God. Nothing is ever lost, and we are not forgotten. Good morning. It's great to see everybody here today. I'm not adding a Bible verse this morning, so let's do our statement of being together. God is all, both invisible and visible, one presence, one mind,
one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joy.
I'm so excited that spring is finally here. So that makes me want to sing about sunny days. And now it's raining. So, so if we sing about sunny days, the sun will come back, right? So that's what we'll do. You can sing along with this one. The chorus is very easy and predictable, and there's a call and response part to it. So you repeat what I say. So I'll go, sunny day. You go, sunny day. So you can do that if you'd like. And the words change, so sometimes I go, come what may, come what may. Yeah. So there you go. Participatory music. Sunny day, you come back to me, don't change my life, you can change it later, baby. Don't run away, I'm not ready for the sudden rain, the weather's changing lately. It seems like the whole world is going crazy. Thunder shakes our hearts, but nature needs to do some rearranging. Come what may, just embrace the change. The one thing we can trust is that we're changing. And even this great storm will stop its raging. Sunset, keep moving till tomorrow. Sunny day, you came back to me, you changed my life, but I think my heart grew bigger. Come and stay, and then you'll have to leave. I know you must move on, that's what I figure. So I'll sit and enjoy you while you linger. Sunrise, tomorrow. Sunrise, sunset. Keep moving till tomorrow.
Thank you. Wonderful and beautiful as always.
Thank
you. You're welcome. So now's the time in our service for our meditation. Any prayers and blocks? Okay. So let's just get quiet for here just a few moments. There are no new names in our prayer box at this exact moment. So I would like for you to hold your loved ones in your heart at this moment. And know that the words that you're about to hear are for them just as much as they are for you. So I invite you to close your eyes and be still for just a few moments. If you can, release all your burdens and your joys and just be here now. Just let it all go. Sense the comfort in your body, the relaxed position of your hips and your shoulders, your head. Soften everything and just be. Be still and know that I am God. I am still in thy presence, God of my being. I am quiet and peaceful, for I put my trust in thee. A great stillness steals over me, and a great calm quiets my whole being, as I realize thy presence. My heart knows of thee, O Most High within. It is still in thy presence, and it puts its whole confidence in thee alone. I alert my mind to every blessing in my life this day. I know that I abide in the omnipresence of good, and that around me on all sides God is pressing upon me as my good. There is no limitation to the amount of God in my world, and I let this great presence flood me with blessings. Unlimited health is mine. Uncountable prosperity is mine. Eternal peace is mine. I drop out of my thought every contracting thought of limitation. I know only the expanding truth of life. I have faith in the overflowing cup of truth, and I drink from the living waters. And I know that I shall never thirst again. The spirit of life, love, and wisdom is surging with me to make me a better person. All that is of truth pours itself into my consciousness, and I freely accept all its bounty. Knowing that abundance is ours, we also know this for everyone on our Valley Community prayer list. And we each know this for loved ones that we now remember. For theirs is the richness of spirit, and all is in divine right order. We are all living together in a spiritual universe that is forever showering us with blessings. For all those blessings that appear on our pathway we rejoice and we give thanks. Let us be quiet for just a moment. While we are still and in that quiet place within, let us pray together the way Jesus taught his disciples. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed is thy name. Thy kingdom is come, thy will is done on earth as it is in heaven. Thou givest us this day our daily bread, and thou forgivest us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Thou leadest us not into temptation, but dost deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever.
Amen.
Amen. So my lesson today, my message, is called Advice from Sages. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma is a book about a lawyer, Julian Mantle. He's a hard-driving lawyer, and he works 18 hours a day, and he used outrageous courtroom theatrics to win every single case, and he played just as hard as he worked. Needless to say, he became enormously successful. His life looked really enviable from the outside. But what was really going on? At 53, he looked like a man in his late 70s. His life philosophy was take no prisoners, and his out-of-balance lifestyle was really stressful. At 53, he'd actually already lost his sense of purpose. And at 53, he had a massive heart attack. That very week, his law firm announced that the great Julian Mantle would not be returning to the law. He was giving up the law, in fact, and everybody was totally shocked because he was so successful. It was later determined that Julian had sold everything he owned, including his prized possession, his shiny red Ferrari. Now, we're going to fast forward 3 years in our story. So Julian shows up in the office of his protege, John, who did not even recognize him. Julian looked like a man in his 30s. Wow. Everybody in the office, they had no idea who this guy was. And he actually had the energy of like 10 people. So what happens is that Julian shares the story of his obvious transformation with John. So Julian tells John that he traveled the globe looking for practical techniques and practices that would actually change the quality of his life, because he recognized that something was drastically wrong. He wanted to find his soul, because he realized he'd actually lost it along the way in all of his outer success. He told John that he had actually traded his health and his energy for the fleeting rewards of working for this great law practice. And he had traded the riches of his soul for a fat bank account. And for the illusory gratification of his live fast, die young lifestyle. Well, at 53, he didn't really want to die young. He knew something had to be done. So he was offering to share with John the ideas about how to live an enlightened life. He had promised the sages that he had met, and of course, Julian had spent lots of time in India and in the Himalayas. And the sages that he had studied with said, if we teach you these things, you must go out and share it with the world. So he began to share the 7 virtues of a life overflowing with inner peace, joy, and a wealth of spiritual gifts. Julian said that the sage told him about these 7 virtues in the form of a fable. He said that if you hear the fable, that it will actually help the listener remember the 7 virtues. So here's the story. It's very short. If you'd like to close your eyes and listen to see if you can actually get the key elements of the story. Okay, here goes. You are sitting in the middle of a lush, magnificent green garden. This garden is filled with the most spectacular flowers you have ever seen. The environment is supremely tranquil and silent. Savor the delights of this garden and feel as if you have all the time in the world to enjoy this natural oasis. As you look around, you see that in the center of this magical garden stands a towering red lighthouse. Suddenly, the silence of the garden is disturbed by a loud creaking of the door at the base of the lighthouse as it opens. And out stumbles a 9-foot-tall, 900-pound Japanese sumo wrestler. He casually wanders to the center of the garden. The sumo wrestler is sporting a pink wire cable. As he starts to move around the garden, he finds a shiny gold stopwatch, which someone had left behind many years earlier. He slips it on and falls to the ground with an enormous thud. The sumo wrestler is rendered unconscious and lies there silent and still. Just when you think he has taken his last breath, the wrestler awakens, perhaps stirred by the fragrance of some fresh yellow roses blooming nearby. Energized, the wrestler jumps swiftly to his feet and intuitively looks to his left. He is startled at what he sees. Through the bushes at the very edge of the garden, he observes a long winding path covered by millions of sparkling diamonds. Something seems to instruct the wrestler to take the path, and to his credit, he does. This path leads him down the road of everlasting joy and eternal bliss. Now, Julian tells John that he was totally disappointed. He thought that the monk was going to sit him down and tell him some earth-shattering knowledge that was going to make him race right out in his search for this torchlight of enlightenment. He was totally bummed. He was totally bummed. But however, the old sage saw that Julian was totally bummed, and he says, never overlook the power of simplicity. So the 7 keys to the ancient principles of enlightened living, according to the sages, are, I'm sure you probably figured them out, there's the garden, the lighthouse, the sumo wrestler, the pink wire cable, the stopwatch, the roses, and the diamonds. And each one of these represents something very special that helps us keep in mind the 7 virtues. So the garden is a symbol of the mind, which of course is used in many philosophies. Of course, in divine science, we would not say that's certainly not God's mind. That's not God's mind, but it would be us thinking through our individual mind. We have to take care of that mind. We have to nurture it, and we have to cultivate it just like you would do a garden, so that it'll blossom, because that's what we really want it to do. Now, if you let the weeds take root, we know what happens to that. Right? Everything eludes you. There's weeds everywhere. You can't even find the flowers anymore. You would not pour toxic waste on your prized roses and expect them to blossom and thrive. So, we are admonished to refrain from pouring toxic thoughts into our mind. You saw that coming, I know you did. And what are toxic thoughts? Worrying, fretting about the past, brooding over the future. Anything that really just puts our mind in that negative space are toxic thoughts. So, in divine science, we would say focus on what you want, not what you don't want. That is certainly a mental, I'd call that mental gymnastics half the time. Okay? Mind management is life management. I believe that we would also say that. And this is what the sages are trying to teach him. Either you control your mind or it controls you. So, we would say, so meditate more. Be still, listen more, and talk less. Clearly defined priorities and goals offer the same guidance as the lighthouse offers to ships who are sailing in the seas. They offer guidance and refuge from the sea of life when it gets rough. So the lighthouse symbolizes the importance of exploring our talents, uncovering our personal purpose, and then applying our gifts in the directions in which we are led. So the lighthouse reminds us that the purpose of life is a life of purpose. Kaizen is a Japanese word meaning constant self-expansion and never-ending self-improvement. We would call that self-leadership. So the sumo wrestler represents this practice of Kaizen. Confucius said, good people strengthen themselves ceaselessly. I actually like to call that self-correction. We find something that's not working in our life and we correct it because we see that it's not happening. So that would be self-leadership. So we're going to say be open and receptive, give it a try. It will always move us to a higher level of awareness. Now I imagine that someone would look really funny with you if you said, hey man, I don't have any time to stop for gas, I'm too busy driving. I got a lot to do today. I'm sorry, I can't stop and buy gas. Well, how many of you feel like you're like too busy to spend time working on yourself? Giving yourself the time and attention that you need. According to the sages in the fable, this would be a very, very big mistake. You will eventually run out of gas, and then there will definitely be no driving at all. So in order to love and nurture others, we have to learn to love and nurture ourselves. If we cannot lead ourselves, then we also cannot lead a corporation or our personal business. We all want to release the fears of self-neglect, the years of self-neglect and unbalanced thinking, right? We all want to release the fears that hold us captive. In divine science, we would encourage daily meditation and study as a way to get connected to the flow of life. The sages threw in, listen to music, take a walk in nature, eat simply, watch your self-talk, reduce your needs without poverty thinking. Okay, on to this pink wire cable. Such a strange, funny thing to throw into the story. However, if you think about it, a wire cable consists of many, many tiny, thin wires placed one on top of the other. So that the cable is very thick, very heavy, and it actually becomes stronger than iron. But if you have one of those little wires alone, you can actually break it. It's so thin, you could actually break it. So the pink wire cable represents the power of self-control and self-discipline. So in order to build self-control and discipline, it is essential to take small, tiny little acts that we do that are routinely performed to eventually produce an abundance of inner strength. So it's like taking those little things that if we only did them once a week, that's okay. But if we do them every day and we keep building and building and building, that actually gives us more freedom and more strength. So I encourage you to discover what small changes that you can make in your daily routine that will strengthen your spiritual resolve, which will result in a life free of fear and strain if done with regularity and with purpose. So far, the sages have given us symbols as reminders in the story. So we have the garden that keeps us focused on inspiring thoughts. The lighthouse reminds us that the purpose of life is a life of purpose. The sumo wrestler keeps us centered on continuous self-discovery. And the pink wire cable links us to the wonders of self-discipline. Nobody likes that word, by the way, discipline. No, Jan is back there shaking her head going, no, I don't like that word. Because it does seems like sometimes hard or harsh. But actually, it's a wonderful thing. Okay, so now you might be wondering about that shiny gold stopwatch. Time is our most valuable, non-renewable resource. We can build and retain a sense of meaning and peace in our day-to-day life by practicing time mastery. We do this by anchoring all the most vital aspects of our life into our daily schedule. I have a calendar that has everything written on. I call it my brain. Because if I don't, I might not remember stuff, and rather than just try to I just write it all down. But the trick is to remember to go look at your calendar. That's actually the only thing I have to remember is every morning, look at that calendar. Prioritizing gives us more freedom, not less. It actually really does. But prioritizing and living my life by my calendar is also sometimes shows up as not so good because of a lack of discipline. So you have to work the two in together. So we want to stop living our life actually in compartments and understand more about how all we do forms one indivisible whole. So who are your time thieves? We all have them. What about the phone? What about the phone? We all pay for voicemail. Let it do its job. You don't have to answer the phone and pick it up every time it rings. Or every time you hear that bzzz, in your bag or over there on the desk. You're going boop, boop. Oh, somebody sent me a text message. I have to go look at it. No, you don't. The text message will be there eternally. In a box somewhere in Washington. Somewhere. So you don't have to worry. You're not going to lose it. Do you kill time by procrastinating? I hate that kill time. That sounds awful. Do you live a hurried, frenzied pace every single day? Is your life so complex that you don't actually have time to do what you really want to do? So, anybody got some time thieves they'd like to share? Come on, tell me some time thieves. Some of them are actually people, by the way.
Email.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, Laura. Email is a time thief. How about Facebook?
I knew you were going to say it.
You were going to say it, right? Okay, Facebook is a time thief. You get on there to look up one person's thing, and oh my gosh, an hour and a half later you go, ugh. Or even, in reality, even the internet. Remember when you used to get in your car and go to the library to look stuff up? But now, everything's at our fingertips. And it really, I think it really, I love technology today. It's fascinating and it's just wonderful and it makes our lives better. But what's the cost, actually? What is the cost? So, yes, and also there's that person that calls you just when you're starting to cook dinner. That person that calls you at 9 o'clock at night when actually you've been in bed for half an hour already. That would be me. Maybe not anybody else, but that's always me. I go to bed really early these days. So, this is another place where you set boundaries and you set your priorities. You just don't answer the phone. They'll call you tomorrow if it's important. They'll leave you a message, which you can still listen to tomorrow. In general, sometimes things need your immediate attention, but not usually. So, anyway, just think of your time thieves and think about kind of pushing them out, making some priorities. So the advice from the sages is this: don't waste even a minute of your day. Develop a deathbed mentality. What? What? This deathbed mentality is live every day as if it was your last. Try doing that just one day. It's really hard. It's actually really, really hard. They say expand your dreams. Act as if failure is impossible. Give up being a prisoner of the past. We all have these little invisible chains. It's a good thing we can't see them. Because some of us have lots and lots of chains, like just tons of them wrapped around our neck, So we don't want to be a prisoner of anybody, of anything, especially not of our past, because it's gone already. So they're suggesting that we focus on priorities and maintain balance in our life. And their big thing is simplify, simplify, simplify. So now we come to the fragrant roses that energize that sumo wrestler. See them lying there in the garden. There's a Chinese proverb that says, a little bit of fragrance always clings to the hand that gives the roses. The meaning is clear, I think. When you work to improve the lives of others, you indirectly elevate your own life in the process. This is how we talk about in divine science, how we view praying for others. Praying for others ultimately also helps us as well. So the roses represent an ultimate purpose of life, which is selfless service to others. Our need is to cease seeing ourselves as purely an individual and begin seeing ourselves as part of the whole, to see our oneness with all that is. So the sages here they suggest that we cultivate the sacredness of everyday life, every single thing, that we live to give, and that the quality of our life ultimately comes down to the quality of our contribution. And by helping others in some way, we add to our own life. Okay, so now here we come to the secret of lifelong happiness. Diamonds! No, not literally. The ones in the story, they make the path. The sumo wrestler looks to his left in the story. That was very specifically done because to the left is intuition, the left side. Right, if you look to the right, it would have to do with, Jenny, what is it?
Activity, doing, and the word.
Yeah, right, and mental, intellectual. My brain went, what? Okay, so that's mental, intellectual stuff on the right, and doing. To the left is the intuitive, emotional, feeling part. So he looks to the left, and he sees this pathway of diamonds through the bushes. He was listening to his intuition. And it says, it's, to his credit, he actually looked to the left. So he was listening to his intuition. So the secret of lifelong happiness, wait for it, it's really too simple. You really won't believe it? Be here now. That's it. Mr. Sharma could have just written those in big letters and closed the book and said, that's it. Be here now. Actually, the man, Robin Sharma, who wrote this book, was a lawyer. But he gave up the law by the time he was 25 years old because he realized that this was going to happen to him, having a heart attack at 53. Because he was working so many hours a day, and his brain was exploding, about to explode every day. And so he became a motivational speaker, and he's written like 5 or 6 books, and he does a lot with businesses. He actually uses this book as a business model. He's got the monk who stole his Ferrari was the first one, and then there's the secrets of the shiny red Ferrari, and then there's the whatever of the red Ferrari. So he's written quite a few books. So, and this just comes from him being a lawyer and the insights that he had. And he quit, 25 years old. He probably just gotten out of law school and only been working for, what, a year, maybe? And he got it right away. So this story is actually what didn't happen to him because he got it early. And he realized it. So, be here now. The past is water under the bridge, right? The future is the distant sun in the horizon, way over there. So the most important and the most powerful moment is right now, in the present moment. So the path of diamonds symbolizes the daily, moment-to-moment enrichment of our life that comes actually from seeing everything that's happening and being present in the moment. Now, in your mind, you can be anywhere. If you're in a room full of people, half of them aren't really here. They're thinking of something else, so that means they actually are elsewhere. So we can actually travel in our minds, even though our bodies is somewhere else. Our bodies are somewhere else. So what they're saying is be here now. Wherever here is, be there. Be focused on there. Have you ever picked up something in a room and you need to go take it and put it in the kitchen, and you find yourself in the dining room holding it and going, where's that going? Where was I going? What was I doing? You're not there. You're not here. You are not right. And I actually just did that to myself yesterday. I picked something up and I was taken to the kitchen, and I got to one other room in the house and I went, oh man, where was I going with it? Oh. And I said, see, you were not paying attention. I mean, it takes conscious effort to pay attention and be in the now. It really does. Now, Winnie and Stephanie, they're laughing because they hear this every time they go to their song on Sunday mornings and they do their readings and their meditations. Because that's a very sage, age-old concept, is being here now. And practicing being here now takes conscious effort. So the sage's advice, slow down. That's a hard one for me. It really is. Smell the roses. Do not put off living, and do not put off happiness for the sake of achievement. Live from your imagination. Enjoy the beauty and the sacredness around you every single day. And, importantly, start right now. Not when your bank account is full, or you lose weight, or you get a better job, or you move to a bigger house, or you get married, or you get divorced, whatever. So the final message from the sages is this, and the fable. What lies behind you and what lies in front of you matters little when compared to what lies within you. Somebody famous said that, I think. I just can't put my finger on it. Do you know, Jenny? Who said that? Anybody know who said that?
That was me.
Did you? Oh, Joy, thank you. Oh, thank you. He stole it from you. Oh, my goodness.
I know. I should be
You're going to have to get him. You're just going to have to go get him. So
Get your royalties.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Don't do that. So, and we hear that in divine science all the time. Is it all this stuff out here? Yeah, okay, there it is. We use it, and we're on this planet, and here we are in these bodies at this time. But it's really what matters. What's going on in here is really what is the most important thing in your life. So let's get still for just a moment. Let us remember each day to think positively, to follow our purpose, to practice the art of self-leadership, to live with discipline and simplicity, to respect our time and the time of others, to selflessly serve others in some way, and to always remain in the present moment. And so it is. Your turn.
I've been meaning to cover this song for a long time, and now it's finally going to happen. You should sing along. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everybody. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All throughout the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All throughout the world, I'm gonna let it shine. All throughout the world, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Thank you, Joy, that was beautiful. Now it's time for the blessing of the gifts. If the ushers would please bring forward the baskets. Please recite with me. Today, I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent, blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God.
This is our prayer basket. Just like we were talking about in the
That's okay.
message this morning, that by praying for others, we ultimately are actually helping ourselves. So take one or two names and pass it back.
Thank you, James.
Good morning. Thank you, Nancy, for that great message. That slow down thing is hard, very hard for me to do. And I've been trying to practice, but that hasn't worked too well, so keep trying, I guess.
Think positive. Think positive.
I'm trying to think positive about that, but
Weed your garden.
I do that. That's a very hard one for me, so anyhow, and thank you for the great music as always, Joy. You're just a joy to be having here. It's always just so uplifting, so I thank you. Okay, our board meeting is this Tuesday night at 4:30. We've had to change it this month, so it's going to be on Tuesday instead of Monday, and it's going to be at 4:30 instead of 4 o'clock. So just wanted to let everybody know that. The ballots for the election are due in by the end of the month. The last Sunday, I think, is the 29th. So the ballot box is over here. If you did not get one in the mail, pick one up here at the church. We've got them out front and over here at the ballot box, and make sure you vote, get your vote in. This Friday night, we're having our movie night. It's our first of our events that we're starting for the year. It's at 6:30. Now, Vince, people have not told me what movie we're watching.
Oh, come on.
What is it?
Really?
Look at me.
I am looking at you. You're the only events person here. The other ones are not here.
No, Wendy's back there.
Oh, when, oh, okay,
Anyhow,
come
no.
on.
Anyhow, we will get together.
One call.
That's right, we'll send it out on a one call. But I think we are going to have pizza. I think we kind of had an idea about that. So we'll do the pizza and any other snacks we might have. But I think we've been charging like $5 for the pizza to help pay for the pizza. So, and we'll have vegetarian pizza also for the people that do not. So you'll be taken care of, Marita and Jenny and Becky and everybody else. So. Anyhow, we have that, and I'll announce the movie. I'll make the call early on in the week, and it will be at 6:30. We decided to have it on a Friday night to try that for a change, and that way people they can sleep late on Saturdays, and they don't have to worry about getting home Saturday evenings and then all that stuff. So, anyhow, we're going to do that. We have also the events calendar. Nancy is printing them up. They were out in the orders of service and got them posted around. Not to say that they're written in stone, because we do change things all the time. So we'll be doing that too. We do plan to go on to a ball game here pretty soon in May to celebrate Jerry's birthday. We will be doing that. So we're going to go to a ball game, and Kate's birthday. So anyhow, we try to do things that people put on the survey. So we put them on there. So I want to see people out and participating in these things. Lastly, this week's flowers are sponsored by Laurel and Cynthia for my birthday. So I thank them. So I will be taking them home. Thank you. Oh, you had something over there has some more.
One thing I wanted to say. When Eddie was in rehabilitation, he was complaining because we hadn't properly celebrated certain birthdays and events and things like that. And I said to him, now, for your birthday, I'm going to get you your very favorite thing, which is an ice cream cake. An ice cream cake. Well, he didn't make it to his birthday, but I have a great big ice cream cake.
Oh, right.
And it says, "Happy birthday, Eddie." And I hope everybody will please take a piece of ice cream cake. Celebrate.
We will.
Destroy your lunch. For those of you who can't stay, take a piece of ice cream cake with you. Go quick. He's
in the car.
But I hope you will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Our closing hymn is number 53, "You'll Never Walk Alone." Sing it all the way through. That is hymn number 53.
What time?
4:30.
At the